those who are here with me. Let me say ridiculous penalties in favor of Arsenal and a lot of scorelines over the past few games. Of course, you can hear their voices already. Some people are celebrating. Some people will attack me after this program, but of course, I'm stating it. As one guy is not talking now. When it happens the other way around, we're going to hear a lot of French, the referee was, we have a lot of English, you don't understand. But of course, it's over in Abu Dhabi. The Grand Prix has come and gone. Final race for the year has ended in Abu Dhabi, and surprises. Of course, not so much surprises, but surprises because who you expected to take pole to get the podium didn't get where he should stand, but he was actually right up there on the podium alongside the other drivers. There's some unusual retirements by some players. A lot of things happened. Welcome to the program. I have Buchi with me in the studio, returning again. Good evening. Has been your Sunday. And if you're watching us online, you can see D1 is there. He is back from his travel. He went to have a meeting with Donald Trump to tell the players to stop kneeling. But that actually took place in the lorry. D1, welcome back.
It's my pleasure to be back on stadium tonight.
Yes, and on the stadium, we have a very special guest today, well dressed in a very powerful reflective jersey you can see. We have our big brother in the media and massively in sports in Nigeria, Ben Wakalo. Ben is a coordinator of the LOC Citygate Badminton Club here in Abuja. If you don't know that badminton still exists in Nigeria, of course, today you are going to hear. You might have been seeing people play. You think it's only a game for the rich. No, you too. Because you can even use your street on sanitation day. You don't need... anyway, he'll tell us details about that. Ben is also the National Secretary, Association of Badminton Clubs in Nigeria. Mr. Ben, you are welcome to the...
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. You know you're a big fish to catch. We've been hunting you for a long time with small nets.
No, he didn't touch in the right water.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Let's start off first of all, Buchi, with what happened in Formula One. Day has come and gone. Yeah. Abu Dhabi is still agog. At the end of the race, people don't want to go home. They're still hanging around the circuit, and a lot of things are going on.
This is the biggest party in F1. This is what all the drivers, all the teams, everybody has been waiting for. And I think it's apt location to pick Abu Dhabi because Abu Dhabi essentially is the playground of the world, and the F1 is no exception. I mean, they have roller coasters there. They have
Yacht Club is there
right now. I mean, I think we were before we came on watching the F1 East, which is the video game series of F1
actually going on after the main
actually going on. You have young not drivers, but young gamers from around the world.
Intending drivers, some of them.
Exactly. So, this is what I think, this is what the season is. It's come to an end. It was a big spectacle. Lovely, absolutely lovely. And like you said, unexpected wins. Bottas taking a pole position.
Bottas did.
Bottas winning is Hamilton and Vettel coming in second and third. Yeah. And I think Bottas was just driving like a man on a mission. He actually
outrightly after he took pole yesterday in the final practice, I just thought that there's something up with this guy today. He wants to make a statement because Hamilton drove trying to give him that protection to have that.
It was like you said, I think we said this a few weeks ago, it became role reversal. Of course, Hamilton has taken the season long before now, but
there's nothing that's taken any longer for him.
Nothing at stake. So
do you think he's trying to groom Bottas in that way, indirectly, for him to say next season, guy, probably you're going to be the lead driver, and I'm going to sit there on the same team.
I don't think so. I mean, this is what I mean. Your co-driver has helped you out all through season. Won the race, you've won it, you've taken it. I think it's only the deserved win. Bottas, Hamilton playing defensive driver to Bottas taking the walking off other competitors on all the bends. Bottas just bailing, taking it. I think it's also a big plus to Mercedes. I mean, the two Mercedes drivers coming in both first and second and running off the season. Kudos to them. I think it's a statement for next season. Can't wait for next season.
What do you think Mercedes did right after the problems in Singapore and Malaysia? Little issues we had with engines. Most of the teams went back. Apart from the proposal of the change of engine in 2021, what do you think the teams did right to have this race end as tight as it race was tight, apart from Bottas and Hamilton and Vettel that actually gave a very wide gap of up to seconds, a lot of seconds from the rest of the drivers. What do you think the teams did right? And are they anticipating? Would they miss these engines if that is implemented in 2021?
I think it's going to, like we've always said, it's going to open up the field. It's going to bring in a lot of independent competitors to the game. I think the truth is Mercedes is a big company, and they do have a reputation of reliability on them. I mean, Ferrari had a terrible season. They were leading till the top with the engine and the crashes and. But Mercedes were just able to chuck it in, and then kudos to the drivers. They do have two of the best drivers in the world, in the person of Hamilton and Bottas. Sure. Phenomenal drivers, know how to button down, maintain their cool, and win races. So I think the truth is that it was a tight season. It was pretty tight, but until that Ferrari slip up, it seemed like Ferrari had this all in the bag. But Mercedes kept it cool. They kept their engines running. All their parts were in check. They just, I think they have a tight team. They've just named it as the best team.
Exactly.
They had a tight team. They had a tight crew. They kept everything up to the needle. They deserve to win.
There were a few problems today from the pit. The change of tire, like we're comparing NASCAR to Formula One. NASCAR had been changing fast, but Formula One actually did today. They changed tires in less than between 5 and 7 seconds. But in one of the tire changes, Sainz of Renault had a problem. After the tire change from the pit, he left the pit, and the left tire, the driver's tire, started wobbling, and he had to get out of the race. Lost it. Was the excitement of Abu Dhabi all over the pit crew?
I think so. I mean, think about it. This is the end. I mean, all points have probably been decided upon. This is just Abu Dhabi for me was more like, it's already been wrapped up. Let's just do it in grand
like
style.
An ATP final tour.
It's sort of It's sort of like it was sort of like a daisical in that regard. I mean, all season we've had these pit crews being at it and being on point properly. But right now, this is the end. I'm still relaxed and chilled back. I think it can be forgiven. It can be forgiven.
I know that his staff salary will go for that somewhere. Right, so the top 10, we have Bottas, we have Hamilton, we have Vettel, we have Raikkonen, we have Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Perez, Ocon, Alonso, and Massa. Top 10 there. Bucci, before I come to D1, I know D1 has something to say about this. There's been change of ownership in Formula One, like it's happening across the world in different other sports.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's happening in badminton. We'll ask Uncle Ben much later. A lot of the Arabs and the Chinese are encroaching into a lot of sports and buying. No matter what price tag you put, Messi just signed a contract and his release clause is 700 million euros.
Yeah.
I think the Chinese won't buy Messi if they want to. They will. If they want to buy him,
gladly.
They are showing that in several other sports, including Formula One. There have been a lot of interest now, more investments in Formula One now to expand, to get out of that circle that was controlled by Benny Eccleston, who is actually leaving Formula One now. I think he has a very massive severance package, so he won't talk.
Of course, no. I mean, of course, he literally is the one that shaped Formula One to what it is right now.
Kudos to him. He did.
Kudos to him.
There's no Formula One, because as long as I remember, without attaching
to it, he literally is Formula One. So,
but what the new owners are doing, the first thing they're doing is, apart from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which they restructured it in a way that they reintroduced the two-star car to accommodate celebrities that will come in. Shortly before the practice drive, there was this races around just for celebrities to have a look at the circuit and all those stuff. A driver driving you and a celeb at the side. A lot of people from Hollywood and some big name players,
sports,
NFL and all those came around, which is one of the ways of making money as well. They also want to change the almighty Formula, as we always. How will this affect, or will it open more space for the market? Do you think this will affect the Formula One as we have always known it, or the change of the logo that has been identified with Formula One for years? Will it affect the market, or is opening more space for more investors to?
Let me start from something that you mentioned in the course of our discussion, that many people, they don't want to leave the stadium at the end of the day. We were salivating for more. When you see good thing, definitely you want to stick to it. If to say they didn't perform to expectation, they wouldn't have really wait for them that they should continue. In fact, before the end of the race, they will be saying, just go and let us have our peace. But now that they're enjoying it, they want to stay back and have more of it. And talking about the logo, I think everything in this life has to do with the changes. We can't just be static. We need to move from one step to another step. I believe what they are trying to do will even allow more sponsors to come in. Reason be the fact that they want to build on the reputation that they have on ground. And I believe with that, people will love it more, because they want to see what that logo will eventually bring to the sport as a whole. And I think it's going to be a good thing for them, because the logo that the specimen that is on ground right now, it seems is something that is very nice. Although some people they are saying something about it, that they need to add some things to it, but with what is on ground, I think it's very good for them. They just need to develop on it a little bit, and it's going to help the game.
Anyone think it's going to help the game? I'm going to ask Uncle Ben, even though we're not got into badminton yet, but I'll just ask you, like, I mean, when it comes to business investment in investors coming into sports, an investor comes into sports looking at money that he's going to make from his investment, not the interest of the sports itself. Even though the sport has to mature and present what it used to present or something better in order to attract money for investor. And we have this kind of issue. So are there prospects of having this kind of partnership in games like badminton or some of the local sports that we have in this country, having this? What can we do to attract investors to, like it's happening?
Like you mentioned in your earlier discussion, you said the Arabs, like it, they are now bringing stars to drive around.
Yes.
That's show business. In show business, when you attract attention, the money goes where the attention. So when you're able to, in our sports here, what we don't do things that will attract attention, especially like a sport like badminton. It's a very passionate. The people, the followership that badminton enjoys in Nigeria, not even football.
Wow.
Has that kind of follow. But over the years, the administration have not been able to get that attract the attention of where the money is. Corporate bodies. If you're able to get that formula, attract the corporate bodies into whatever a corporate body wants to put into they look at the bottom line. What do you get at the end
of it?
So be able to make it attractive enough to say, if I invest this much, at the end of the day, what do I get in return? What mileage do I get? If I'm able to get tax cut from it, if I'm able to get corporate responsibility. That's points. You
just brought in something that we spoke about the other day on this program. Ibrahim Inu was here. We were talking about why investors are afraid of investing in Nigeria because the government does not even give them tax cut.
Yeah.
You are supposed to come here to invest in a sport, and yet you are also required to remit all that is required of you tax-wise, which you are helping the government fulfill its own responsibility where it is not faring well, and yet you are expected. I come in to invest into, let's say, Citygate badminton, and I'm a businessman. Maybe I'm a cement mogul. I come here and the club is worth £700 million. Do that, I don't have a tax cut. I'm expected to pay to the government still what I'm supposed to pay with my companies resident here in Nigeria. Is that not discouraging for investors to?
I don't see it that way. If a business, they are in a business to make money, I have to invest outside my core business in another venture. I want to know what I'll get out of it. Okay. So if they are investing, if you invest in it not as a core investor but as kind of like a corporate responsibility, you want to know at least you get something out of it.
Yes.
So if you don't do that, if the government does not create that enabling environment where investors will have that confidence that okay, even if they invest this in all in Europe and America, yes, the way they got to where they are now, yes, they had to go through this thing. They made it attractive for investors to say, okay, if we invest this much, at the end of the day, they deduct it from their taxes. You know, so we just have, there's a lot of work we need to get to be able to get there. But it's possible.
It's possible, said Uncle Ben Wakalo, who is here as a guest talking sports today. Buchi is in the stadium and D1 is in the stadium. We go into the world of badminton. It's a game, like he said. We just laid the foundation for that. Of course, we are done with Formula One, but if you want to be a part of this program much later or now, you are free because we always leave our lines open. Make sure that you limit your conversation for now to things we have spoken about and things we are speaking about. You could call the number 081 89 99 1011. Kube, is badminton still existing in Nigeria? Let me start. I know. Growing up as a young boy in those days, the net is very, very mobile. And I had an uncle who came back from Cameroon who used to speak very big French and English. Once there is space within my father's compound, even if it's just a space, you just bring out two poles, put one there. You ask me to count. I'll use my short legs and count the distance. We'll put the poles, tie the net, and I'll stand on the other side. The racket 2 times my size. You'll be at the other side, dropping for me to pick. That's what made me to start picking love in the game because I saw that it's a game that can actually be played, apart from the professional one, it can be played in any convenient space at all. You don't need very luxurious spaces unless you're going for the standard one that you should be. You can play on the street on environmental sanitation day when vehicles are not passing and you are finished cleaning your father's backyard. You can just put the net there and play and all that. But in the recent years, that picture that I had as a child growing up has has gradually gone. I was even surprised when you told me that there are badminton clubs here.
Yes, you are right. Badminton has gone down a bit now, but there's a resurgence now. Badminton is a sport that you can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Even there's a video where when Cameron was prime minister, just in the garden of Downing Street, side net and the badminton.
We have a stadium here that is 1.1 million capacity stadium. This is big. This can serve as a.
You can play badminton.
Sure,
we just put nets and
that's
we're good to go. Well, badminton is growing, and the issue about badminton is we've not really promoted the sport the way it should. Badminton has gained a lot, and the players have gained a lot in this. In badminton, officially it became Commonwealth Koja game,
yeah.
All African Games in 2003.
Yeah.
And from them to now, only 96 medals have been. Nigeria has won 31 of those.
Wow.
So
96 medals in the entire sport on the continent.
From 2003 to that's All African Games. 96 medals have been.
Well,
Nigeria has won 31 of those.
That's like almost 70% of.
So you can see Nigeria has done a lot, and we've achieved a lot in badminton. Successive administration, they've not been able to build on the achievement of the past.
Yes.
Badminton is right now. There's a new board that they're trying to do some work on it. Got to be done.
Has there been, like in other sports, of course, we were mentioned that much later in the program, there are always controversies when it comes to elections in these sports, the federations. We've had that in football. There became two fractions. All the teams, clubs started splitting into who's supposed to, the coaches and all that. You and the PD cleaner. Yes, it's been there. It's going on now presently in basketball. FIBA has had to intervene to give us Nigeria a deadline. We have even dropped second in Africa in terms of the male team. The female team is barely struggling to keep that heads above the water, despite the fact that we have new sponsors in that sport. We have split from the Atlantic and the Savannah conferences, yet things are not working the way they are supposed to work, because we copied from another country. They do it that way, it works for them. We copied and it's getting worse. Since we have two conferences, maybe we should have two chairmen, one for Upper Conference, one for Southern Conference and all that. Has that been that challenging in badminton in terms of power tussle for the sake of, not for the sake of the game, but for the sake of the power itself and for the sake of Easter codes? No, Easter codes,
Fortunately, badminton, we are gentlemen. We don't have such issues. Okay. Yes, the election, I was even at the stadium on the day of the election. It was a very, very tough competition for both men that competed. Very, very capable. So whoever won would have been able to badminton forward. And after the election, the user congratulated. Moved on. So, badminton have passion for it.
Okay, what's the state of our national team? Let me ask you, because all this we're discussing is the interest largely is Nigeria. What's the state of our national badminton team? Teams, let me say teams, because we ought to have both the male and the female, right? Like other sports have, or is it different in badminton?
No, we have male and female, and mixed.
Mixed, yeah, okay. So what's the state of our national teams? And what competitions are we what competitions did we just come out of, and competitions are we looking forward to? As a national secretary, you should know that.
Well, I'm the national secretary of the Association of Badminton Nigeria.
Yeah, but you should have.
Yes, I know. Even if you're
I just want to clarify that. Even if you're working in a microfinance bank, you know what CBN is talking about.
I know. I just want to clarify that before someone will think I'm
taking their sport. Okay.
All right. I'm just a subcommittee member of the Publicity and Media Committee, BFN, the Badminton Federation of Nigeria.
Exactly. Okay.
But for the association and the national.
Okay.
And for our national team, lately, for a very long time, we weren't really participating in national team. But with the coming of this new board, from when they had come, we've competed in. There was the Benin tournament where we won. Went to Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
We won there. Yes. Those are internationals. Those are tournaments. When you win, you get a PWF ranking points.
Okay.
So we won. Then the last one was in Lagos.
Lagos, yes.
Sometime in July. But most of our players won medals there. So lately we have the second highest ranked player in Africa. Person of Clement Kroba, second highest ranked player. right now. So we also have so many upcoming players. There was a national tournament 2 weeks ago, Lagos. Back to back, there was one in Katsina. The following week, there was another in Lagos. And players that prior to this tournament, we hadn't had a national tournament for 4 years.
Oh.
So since this new board came, they've competed in, like, players have had opportunity to 5 different tournaments. Months ago, became so they are getting opportunities for tournaments now. Their performance showing. Like 2 of our players have been selected to participate in the WBF sponsored program, which is Road to Tokyo.
Okay.
So usually,
when is that supposed to come up? Sometime next year.
The international body will sponsor you to compete in different competitions, where you get enough points to be able to compete in the Olympics.
Okay, Ben, what are your thoughts? It's like we have somebody on the line. We try to allow people to participate as much as possible. So, hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Hello.
Good evening, welcome to the stadium.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, my name is Ted. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Enoch.
Enoch,
I'm calling from Abuja.
Abuja, okay. All right, make your contribution.
Please, I get some serious issue.
In sports?
I get some serious issue.
Okay, we're discussing sports, sir. Is it about sports or?
No, I need una normal gongo where I feel discussion so I feel come the office.
Okay, it's still this number, but you have to call it after the program. The number is in the studio now, and the program is the stadium. We're discussing sports, so you call the number after the program.
Around what time?
From 9 o'clock.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yes.
Mm-hmm, thank you.
Yes. All right, sorry, some calls coming. They are not directly for us, but since the call is in, we'll have to pick it. Yeah, you are talking about the road to Tokyo.
Yes.
Preparation.
To compete, usually to qualify for Olympics or badminton, there are 3 ways to qualify. You either be top 16 players in the world,
okay,
or you qualify for the 1 slot for each confederation. Okay. You either be the best player in Africa or the best player. And
so as it stands now, we stand a chance because we have the second ranked player in Africa.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And for also the
Hello. Good evening and welcome to the stadium. Work is fine. Please turn down the volume of your radio set. Please turn down the volume of your radio or switch it off. We can't hear you well, please. Hello, what did you say? Okay, we're discussing sports, right? So if you have a contribution about sports, make it or call the number back by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Sorry, Ben, it's part of what we face here.
Yeah, no problem.
That's why it's a family.
Everybody wants to talk to ordinary president.
It's fine. All right, so as it stands now, we have a high ranking player. I want to understand something. The ranking, is it ranked according to country or individual players?
Ranked according to individual players presenting.
Okay, so the country will not be ranked, the player will be ranked.
The player will be ranked. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So our qualification also depends on the performance of that individual player.
Yes.
How many players are we supposed to take out for most of the tournaments? Because a particular sport was supposed to go out to 20 players just a few weeks ago, and they went out with 7. Only 7. They say like non-availability of funds.
Yes, usually if for open tournaments, there are tournaments that are sanctioned by the International Federation. Okay. So if they are open, you can go funds. But once a player starts representing, that's your unique number. That's what they used to rank you. Each competition participating get points. So at the end of the day, the points you're able to garner, that's what qualify for the Olympics.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the stadium. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? My name is Ted. This is a stadium on Human Rights Radio. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Francis Obi. I'm the President of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Yes, I can see you are discussing badminton. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, sir. Yes.
I'm following you on YouTube.
Oh, that's great. Oh, sir, we lost that connection. Please, sir, try to call us back. We're waiting to hear from you because Ben is here. He's telling us things that we need to clarify from you, sir. Please try to get back to us. The lines are open. Try to get back to us. If you want to be part of this conversation, call 081 89 99 1011. All right, Ben. Like other sports, apart from government sponsorship, what other sponsorship does badminton enjoy in Nigeria? Do we have private clubs, and is that allowed that I, Ted, can stand up and start a private badminton club?
Well, most of the clubs are private clubs.
Oh, they're private. Okay.
And over the past decade, the growth of the clubs has superseded the growth of
wow.
Have almost every other week we have a competition clubs. Right now there's one, which we get to this. There was 1, 2.
Yes.
For the next 3 weekends, a veteran competition happening in badminton.
Okay.
But for the professional players, they don't have that many
participating in that. So you want to tell me that badminton in Nigeria is lucrative enough that our players don't need to go abroad to go and play in other countries to come back to represent us? If they stay home here and they are committed to it, they will be as professional as players from countries like Israel, Cyprus, and Asia, especially China and Japan, that you have very good badminton players from.
No, unfortunately for the professional players here, it hasn't been very lucrative. The clubs have more of amateur and veteran players.
Grassroots.
Grassroots. Just with coming of the youth, they're now making clubs to adopt players.
Okay.
So that the clubs will not take care of the welfare of the players. And right now, the structure as it is, there's just no proper club structure for professional badminton players in the country.
So what kind of league do you play? I mean, if there's no structure for professional badminton in the country, what I don't know whether you understand what I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's confusing to me. If
for the league,
yes,
there's no badminton league for professional players in Nigeria right now.
Why not?
It doesn't exist.
We have a National Badminton Federation, right?
Yes, we have a federation.
So why can't the federation organize that and have that? Because
that's part of the federation is working on a roadmap. They just came into office, and from the time they resumed, they're preparing the players for back to back. Okay. So they've not really had time to start rolling out their own. I have privilege information roadmap that the federation is working on, and very soon I'm sure the badminton league.
Okay. Yeah, do you want?
Yeah, if you look at the football in Nigeria, you discover that now they are attracting sponsors to come in. How do you think badminton can attract sponsors? Because the last competition that was held in Lagos State, there was a particular, I don't want to advertise for them, but there was a raffle draw in that place, the venue of the something, and the people that won, eventually they got a flight ticket for them to travel from one place to another.
The president of the Badminton Federation. Oh, well, let me know. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Please kindly introduce yourself again for the sake of our listeners.
Okay. My name is Mr. Francis Obi.
Okay, Mr. Francis.
I'm the President of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria.
Okay, sir. It's a privilege to have you on the Stadium on Human Rights Radio, sir.
Good evening, Presido.
Thanks.
And we have Ben here. He's telling us a lot of things in badminton.
Well, I was trying to follow up online.
Yes.
Because I'm not in Abuja, so.
Okay, sir.
And I was listening to some of the conversation. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, well, you have said most of the things,
yes, sir.
Really and truly, and the slogan for our new board is repositioning badminton for sustainable growth.
Okay.
We don't want to do things on, like half measures. We want something that is sustainable, that will last for a long time. One of the problems we've had in the past is that we had players who dominated the game in Africa.
Yes.
And when they were dominating, there was no selection plan. We didn't have plans for people coming after them to take over.
Oh.
So when those people got to the end of their careers, Nigeria just dropped in the. So it's now that we are picking up gradually again. So those are things that we really would want to address.
Okay.
We want to take the game back to the grassroots. And we want to take the game to the schools.
Yes.
We want to partner with the clubs. We have a lot of badminton clubs across the country.
Yes, that's what Ben just told us.
Yes.
Because we were thinking that since most sports in the country are owned and supported by government, by state governments or by the federal government, or that maybe the same thing in badminton. But he told us that in badminton, most of the clubs are actually privately owned, not by government, and that is good news to hear. For me, it's good to know that we have a sport in Nigeria that is not owned and controlled strictly by government.
But most clubs, like you rightly said, are private member clubs. But what has happened in the past is the fact that they've not really paid so much attention to development of the game, at the active level, that's the younger people.
Yes.
The focus has been on the veterans who just play the game for the fun of it.
Yes.
They want to enjoy themselves and just relax with the game.
They enjoyed it when they were young now, so they won't let go.
So you want to try and engage them and see that, come, yes, you love this game, you are enjoying it, but what can you do for the younger ones coming behind?
Okay.
So that is the strategic partnership we want to have with the clubs.
Okay.
And then, of course, with the schools, we want to take the game to the schools. So for us, the future of the game is in younger ones. We have some good players right now who are senior players who are doing very well.
Yes,
we will support them. We want to get back to that pole position in Africa.
Yes, sir.
But we are more concerned about sustaining whatever we're able to achieve now.
Okay,
we don't want to do it in another 2-3 years. We lose out again and we are nowhere. No.
Yes, sir.
We want it to be continuous, and by the time we dominate Africa effectively, we can take on the world.
Wow. We can't wait for that, to see badminton again back in the Olympics and Nigeria coming home with gold, having our flag flying over the other countries and the national anthem being sung right there at the venue of anything. So before you came on the air, we put Ben to the spot here to ask that in most federations in the country, elections are always do or die. That sometimes even chairs are thrown, some dangerous weapons are brought out, agbada is thrown, and some cameras and microphones are broken when journalists try to interview some people who are there. And I asked him what happened during the last election that brought you into power and the rest of the people there, and he said nothing happened like that. But I'm not very sure. When Ben is talking and smiling, I think I suspect that he's hiding something. So I want to know from you.
Well, you should have come to witness it. First and foremost, I heard him answer that question.
Yes,
he said in badminton we are gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, let me tell you something. Badminton is a game of royalty.
Yes, sir.
It was discovered badminton started in the United Kingdom, in Britain.
Yes.
It was played by the royals, and
Yes.
So it wasn't. It was a game of love.
Okay.
And it's always been a game of love. So at our elections, we have a very tough competition, but at the end of it all, we all came together. Okay. The person who ran against me is a member of the board.
Okay.
And I can tell you that right now, we are working together as a family and as a team.
Oh, that's how it should be.
Because the interest of the game is above any other interest, and that's what we made it.
Yes.
I mean, from the beginning. So even if I had lost, I was ready to join hands with my opponent if he had won, to make sure that the game, does better in Nigeria, because that is the primary aim. So I can say that badminton in Nigeria is one family.
Yes.
And there's so much work to do.
Yes.
Seriously, I must tell you.
Yes.
I came on board. Yes, I had an idea, but I didn't know it was this much.
Okay.
But we are up to the task, and we are ready to take it on. So we're going to give it the best shot.
Okay, so I will hold you to your words, because on this program we take every word as serious as possible, because Nigerians are hearing you in Nigeria and all over the world. They are watching online. People who have given up on badminton in Nigeria are hopeful that with your administration and the team around you, for the person that you defeated in the election working with you, that's very good news. I hope other federations are listening, so that they'll stop spoiling our chairs at the national stadium during the election and breaking expensive equipment.
Well, I'm happy that Ben touched on one or two things. During our campaign, one of the promises I made was that we were going to give the players a very busy calendar.
Okay.
Because as a player, if you train from the beginning of the year to the end, if you don't have competition, there's no way you can know how good you are.
Of course.
So if you don't have competition, and we mentioned to you, in this program that for about 4 or 5 years, we've not had a national championship. That's the truth.
Yes.
So we didn't even have a current ranking of our players. We didn't know who our number one was. But within 1 month, in 2 weeks, we had 2 national championships.
Okay.
It's the first time it is happening in the history of the game, back to back.
Yes.
We called it the double slam.
Yes.
And next year is going to be a very busy calendar for our players. So everything we said we were going to do, we've come out. We had a vision, and
yes.
I can tell you that this board, we want to reposition the game seriously.
Okay, sir. Sir, before you go, one more thing. Ben has given us a very big political promise, even though I don't know which party he belongs to. But he said, there's a roadmap already to have a badminton league in Nigeria, because after all these clubs are privately funded, if there's no league on the ground, like you rightly said, and the athletes are not training or participating in competing in games around, if we don't set up a league, even if it's not obtainable in other countries, we can actually be the arrowhead and make that. How soon are we going to have a badminton league in Nigeria, start in Nigeria?
Next year. I can tell you something, like you rightly said. You know, we have a very vibrant committee or, forum of clubs in Nigeria. And like I told you, we see them as a very strategic group we want to deal with. Yes. So for the league, it's a two-pronged approach for our grassroots development of the game. Exactly. We are engaging schools and we are engaging the clubs.
Okay.
So there is a priority in our plan to bring about. So we are going to have leagues from zonal level to from state to zonal and to national.
Okay.
Next year we are planning to have one of the biggest gathering of badminton stakeholders in Nigeria, which will involve veterans and active players.
Okay.
It's going to be a national championship, and it's going to be club-based.
Okay.
So every club is expected to send participants to compete and represent them on the veteran angle and then active. So for clubs who don't have young players with them now, they'll be pushed and they'll be encouraged to go and adopt young players who will come and represent them at championship. Okay. It's going to be, we're going to come out with something. It's going to be towards the end of the year, but from the beginning of the year, the build-up will start.
Okay.
It's going to be a badminton festival, as it were, the biggest we've ever had in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. My colleagues want to make some comments before you go.
Okay.
Mr. President, good afternoon, sir. Hello, Mr. President.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
I was just greeting you. I was more curious because I'm looking at Oga Ben's jersey here, and it's a Citygate Badminton Club, and I was wondering, what is your club? What is the name of your club?
I'm a member, very active member of a Great Club 1938.
Okay.
Badminton section. I've just finished playing this evening.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
That's amazing. All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir, for having time for us. We'll get in touch with you again, and that directly to you or to Ruben whenever we need you on air again, sir.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Do have a lovely stay in Lagos.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Yes, everything that Ben said has been collaborated with. So there isn't. He has even spoken ahead of some of the things we wanted to talk about. But of course, there are still a couple of things before we round up on badminton. Before we were talking about Formula One sponsorship, Formula One investments and all that, and we're looking at it from the perspective of badminton. What is on ground? Of course, based on what Oga, the president, said now, it's obvious that things are taking shape, and this comes to play. Investors will be really attracted to come partner with the federation itself or to partner with individual clubs to see how, because I see this as a provision where there will be a lot of selling points for corporate investors if they're interested. But what like you are talking about marketing, sports to attract people. What is the plan on the?
Well, like the national tournament. Both of them were sponsored by clubs.
Okay.
The one in Lagos was sponsored by club and benefit sponsored the tournament, and they built a facility for badminton in Lagos.
Okay. Oh, so not even at the state-owned facilities.
They have a very world-class facility.
Okay.
Built 4 courts,
okay.
Gallery, very fantastic facility, and we have individuals that have invested in.
Okay.
There are people who have the passion for it. But what has been missed, most of these individuals are linked to clubs, but over time the federation has not had that connection. Club exists. That was one of the reasons that led to the formation of badminton. Build a platform where the federation can interact with clubs. Because whether you like it or not, the player does not start playing in the club somewhere. So when there's that relationship, and these individuals, these clubs are mostly membered by high and mighty individuals in the captains of and all. So these are the people that decide where the money goes. So if you don't have that relationship with them, when you bring your proposal for sponsorship, it's easier for Ted, you bring your proposal to me, and I know you. It's easier for me to say, okay, I know this. I'll be more interested in sponsoring. You bring that someone that I don't know.
You don't know at all.
At all.
Okay, so that relationship does exist.
Relationship, and this board is building that relationship. Like the president mentioned, they plan to work with the clubs. If you realize that there's for the work with the club. So right now the platform exists, tension is there, clubs are willing, so we are good to go. Badminton.
Okay, Buchi, you have some contribution question.
Just a quick question for like I said, I noticed about City Gates badminton about how most clubs are privately owned. In that private context, there must be that exclusivity, guessing restriction to members. How do we like member but has the interest in badminton play or come and lead up to a profession? How are the clubs, these private clubs, actually bringing in or attracting, outsiders, or how do outside individuals actually join clubs?
You're using diplomacy to color your question.
What
Buchi wants to know
what is
how can somebody
because
from
I didn't
nowhere,
call my name Ted?
how
Leave
can
me
somebody
alone.
from nowhere
I want
break
to
into
join.
break
I'm
into the
saying it
monopoly?
now. I want to join. Leave me alone, Ted.
You want to know how can somebody break the monopoly? Because the fact is that as long as there's that on individual ownership, there will be a monopoly, a caucus, a caucus that controls the interest of the game. Of course, there is both positive and negative. It's the negative side that Buchi is looking at, how he can break into that caucus and make it have positive. That's his interest. Mr. Ben.
Well, it's when I say individual, not as if one individual owns the club.
Yes.
The board clubs usually have like a board of trust. But for different clubs have different procedures. For other clubs, like have their own.
Yes.
But for our own club, all you just need is a referral from one. And badminton is such that any other badminton player we friend. I can walk into any badminton club in here now and introduce myself and do all. So we find every avenue to spread the gospel of badminton. So joining the badminton club isn't really. We have people that come from out of state. They just come the badminton. Even we have a forum that if I'm in Calabar, where do they play badminton? To any 5 locations where I can go and play badminton. So badminton is really open.
Very nice network there.
Yes, we have, but like I said earlier, the issue not really promoted it the way it should
be. Your mouth is itching.
I want to ask, how do you think you can bring government into it? You are just mentioning private. What can you do to bring government in? I'm not saying government should overshadow.
Before Ben goes there, I don't think based on what I heard the president, Mr. Francis, say here, I don't think the stakeholders in badminton at this point in time are interested in bringing government in, because for now, I will say, I'm not speaking on their behalf. He will stay aside. I will say they are comfortable. Do you see the federations are tied to government? Where are they? So we'll be talking about things that are happening here. So they made a budget. We don't know how much is going to.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's capital intensive. If you look at the game, all the games that we have.
Handball veterans are running handball in Nigeria and they're not complaining. So
but let's look at it from this angle. I'm not saying like what we normally mention on this program that there's no how you can separate politics from any game that we have. But how will you bring government in and at the same time you know your interest? You don't want their interest to overshadow what you have at hand. How can you do that to make sure that you have their partner? Because we are in Nigeria here and there is no how we can separate ourselves from them. How can you bring them in so that they can be of support to?
Ben will give you a very good answer to that. But before he goes, let me assure you that when we come back from Tokyo as a country, if we come back with gold medal, do you know where the party will be held? I don't want to call the place. Every stakeholder in badminton will be invited. They'll be
on a stage.
That's where you know how many people have been interested all the while. They won the medal for us. They have no idea who bet the private training facilities and all those stuff to prepare these athletes for Tokyo. That one will happen very sure. Anyway, let Ben give you the corporate answer. I'll give you my street answer.
Well, for government participation, I think the circumstance we find ourselves. That's what has made badminton. All the money now since other sports have now had to find other push their agenda.
Yes.
So badminton has been starved of funds. So right now the private individual trying to do much they can. Yes, we need government funding. If there are subventions, like the federation that is funding, they are running on all resources. The federation is government owned that way. That is just come off. But as far as I know, I have gotten any yet. So we need government badminton, not to run the sport, but to support the sport. Yeah. So if we as government is use money to find money.
That's true. That's true.
The federation came, I don't think
they inherited on ground.
Yes. They've been doing a lot of things that all what they've achieved are resources from here and there.
Okay, Ben, let's look at this dimension to make D1 a little bit more satisfied. Let's talk about the velodrome at the national stage. What facilities do we have there for badminton? It was built during Koja for all most of indoor sports that is supposed to be inclusive of sports like badminton, to have the space provided for that for athletes who might not even be able to cope with the financial obligations of joining private clubs, because it comes with some financial obligations. For the average street boy, street girl who closes from secondary school or who is waiting for the result WAEC or NECO to come out and has passion for the sport, to afford a racket, walk into that stadium to the venue and train with colleagues and all that. What's the state of the facility?
Well, the badminton is actually being played in the package B.
Okay.
That's where a club is practiced.
Okay.
So, but prior to when we formed the club, the facility now used when we opened the club, I don't think that facility had been open. Yes, but the place was filled dust and we had to clean the velodrome that I used. But
yes,
I don't think any. Last I heard, there were gas cylinders also packed. I don't know if it's still there. You know, the facility is not being optimized. Have a wonderful facility. I think for badminton, we've organized ourselves in such we help the federation to handle the facility as a club. Yes. When most of the time when national give the assistance as a club, we assist them in one. Some of them the facility, lot more can be.
Okay. See why you heard that the facility is there, but you heard Ben answered technically. You mean by you know that a government facility is maintained by a private club. I mean, do you get that part? Yes. Very clear. So that's the participation of government you are asking for. That is what is happening.
No, the government is maintaining but we just help with the cleaning. We clean with the side we use.
Do you know how much is in the budget for that activity that you do, Ben?
I don't know.
Anyway, somebody's on the line here. Oh, I love the call. This is a stadium on Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. Do not mistake it for anything. We're discussing badminton, and Ben is with us in the studio. He's an expert in the sport. He's a national secretary for Badminton Clubs Association. He's also the coordinator, LOC, at the City Gate Badminton Club. We're discussing badminton. And of course, the national president of the Badminton Federation called us to give us highlights. So we'll actually collaborate some of the stories that Ben told us. So if you want to be a part of the conversation before we wrap up on badminton, you can call us 081 8999 1011. Gentlemen, before we wrap up on badminton, Buchi, your final thoughts or your final questions?
No, I think we spoke about handball yesterday. Badminton actually reaching about so long on this on this forum.
I'm actually amazed. I'm amazed at the things I've heard. Some things if you don't give a voice to them as it should, the right platform, people will not know.
I am beyond impressed because this is exactly what we've been talking about.
Yes.
If the government is not willing, to, then
you don't have to wait.
You know, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
You have these private bodies, you have a private individual, you have people who have a passion for the sport, actually stepping up and doing the need, to the point of sponsoring I mean, like Uncle Ben talked about, some of the board is clubs actually sponsoring professionals.
Yes.
Towards gearing them towards national competitions, even international competitions outside of the government. This is what we've been talking about. I think this is a big slap government, as in, you know what, we are not waiting on you. This is your focus. If you want to run it, whatever, we will take it up ourselves. And
funny enough, but just what you said, even the people, the authority in the federation, it's not because between them and the final decision makers in the government, there's always a bottleneck. They are not looking forward to that. They are not waiting.
They're not waiting. That's
like what the president said, that he's not. We would have heard him, would have accused him of being the president of the federation, and this is happening. Everything he told us here is actually just towards a private sponsorship, not how much he received from the pass at me or what. No, kind of thing. I think that is commendable. I would say
very commendable. Kudos to the badminton.
Stop eyeing Ben's Jesse, you're not getting it. Do you want
competition? I want to be a City Gate now. You don't want to wear this jersey too. Ted, mind yourself.
No, don't worry. I'm inviting you people for our competition.
All right.
The City Gate is organizing a badminton competition next week, first and second, the National Stadium. Okay. And we're expecting about 29 clubs from all across the country. This festival of badminton, veteran competition. And like I was talking about the passion of badminton. Badminton is one sport that these veterans, they travel from, we have clubs coming from Gom, from Borno State, from Makurdi, from River State, with their own resources to come and participate in this. That's it, they are coming to win money or just for the love of the game. I don't think even footballers travel that far for competition. That's the kind of passion that
footballers go to Sudan. We'll go as far as Sudan
for money. no veteran. Do you have any veteran friend that goes to Sudan to play football?
Right. Do you want your comments, please?
Yes. What I just want to say is to commend the effort of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria and their City Gate as well. But I want you to advise, upcoming badminton players, those that are having it at the back of their mind that they want to play badminton, but with the state of badminton in Nigeria, maybe they are tilting towards football. What can you say to bring them back to love the game of badminton and take it as a career at the end of the day?
Badminton, first of all, what we need to create a platform where to come in contact with the sport. Badminton is a sport that once you start playing it, how you want to play it.
Positive addiction.
Yes. Well, I used to play basketball before. I started playing badminton, and when I was playing basketball, I didn't used to travel that much. But now, my wife and I usually have issues because of badminton. I'll need to choose between badminton and house because every time you're traveling to Kaduna for competition, you're traveling to Lagos for competition. So once we create, like you said before, there used to be facilities where people can train.
Yes,
I think the first thing we should bring back those facilities.
Exactly.
But I've gone around some of the schools in FCT. Some of them have badminton court, but they don't use them. And yes, the program, which is a total time program by the International Federation, and the BFN, they are working on something that, like the president says, they are taking badminton back to the school. Once we introduce sports back to school, naturally,
once it gets back into the inter-house competition level, and all the stuff,
that's it.
How expensive are badminton kids? A shot to the rackets at the net? And is it affordable for the ordinary Nigerian?
That is where badminton is an expensive. Especially when you have the shuttlecocks. The tube of you have the feather and the nylon shuttlecock. Tube of nylon shuttlecock, one is like 1,000 shuttlecock. Feather one is between 9 and 12,000. That's 12, but while a tennis player can use ball for 1 week, each game we play, each day we use a new.
Each day.
Sometimes we depending on the number of course we play. If you use feather, you can before each match, like in the Olympics, all these international tournaments, where they use the feather shuttlecock. Before you finish one match,
you have to change
10, 14.
Wow.
So imagine if you as are training, you have to train feather shuttle. A day you spend 10,000.
Go play like that. I made the feather come on. Go play
in a day. So badminton is quite expensive, but there are certain things that are being put on. See how can attract foreign grants from countries that have the passion for it.
Okay.
But most of the other countries like Mauritius and they don't have the number of players we have, but they'll be able to structure their program in such a way that they have
they're high ahead of us.
Their players don't have to bother about equipment, don't have to bother about any. All they just need to go and train. But for right now, we don't have that. But some time back, we were able to get some sort of sponsor. One sports company, called but for some of the players that they represented us in All African, but if you're able to, the federation president is working on it right now, and as soon as he comes to fruition, he will make the sports cheaper and more
affordable for other people. Okay. This is Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and this is a stadium. My name is Ted. Buchi is here, G1 is here, and we have Mr. Ben Wakalo. Ben is a coordinator, LOC, Citygate Badminton Club. He's the National Secretary, Association of Badminton Clubs in Nigeria. And we had a caller, we had Mr. Francis, the National President of Badminton Nigeria, Federation of Nigeria. Came into the election on challenge, though. No chairs were broken.
He was seriously challenged.
No camera was damaged. No microphone was seized. And they didn't have to revive somebody with pure water at the National Stadium or at the venue of the election.
It's a sport for gentlemen. It's not like
and ladies, don't forget. Ladies are there.
Gentlemen and ladies.
Yes,
this is a sport of kings. The sport that was,
I recall during the election, one of these martial arts, having the election close to the department. They were practicalizing their art
during the election itself. Well, we are used to those, and we're hoping that with this the kind of initiative that the Badminton Federation of Nigeria is having at the moment, we're going to take badminton back to the schools, as I said. You come to your school, your primary school, your secondary school. Funny enough, some schools in Abuja don't have training facilities, just a story building, and you have SS1 to 3 and all that. So they come to your school, of course, give them the support and all that. That will get badminton back into our sports. On the stadium, we promote and we encourage getting them young, and this is what the Badminton Federation is doing. And we follow up with that, so that this is happening. Which is interested in joining the club, we'll be there where Ben has invited us. We'll see what happens on that day.
Honorary membership. Whenever you are coming.
We'll be there. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben, for finding time to be with us on the program. All right, we'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll dive straight into the world of football. A lot of things have been happening. G1 is happy because Arsenal won, but two controversial things in two games.
They have to get to fourth position.
They are bad places. And controversy yesterday over, not controversy, but a lot of back and forth argument whether Willian intended to cross the board and score Liverpool, or he actually meant to score that goal. It's not the first time a Brazilian is doing that. David Seaman had to face a Brazilian player in one of the World Cups. I'm going to ask you, the listener, that if you remember when and which player in Brazil is called David Seaman of England, and which World Cup was that? Such a dummy goal as well. They would also be right back after this break. Stay tuned to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. This is the stadium, only platform that gives opportunity to everybody out there because it is 101.1 million capacity, the biggest in the world. My name is Ted. I'm here with Buchi D1. Guys, how's it been?
Fantastic.
Before we went on the break, this is a long show for Saturdays and Sundays. Today is the last edition for the weekend. We had in the stadium with us very big fish in the world of badminton, discussing details about badminton here in Nigeria. You listen to that program and you want to make a contribution, you are still allowed. Excuse me. He has stepped out briefly because he needs to attend to something that's very urgent. You can leave your comments on our Facebook portal, facebook.com/Human Rights Radio 101.1. You can also check us out on YouTube. Follow the show live if you are not within perimeters where you can receive us on your radio or on your phone or in your car or any other device. Meet us online. You can be there with us and we will interact. Actually read out your messages when the time comes. Right, gentlemen, a lot has been going on. D1 is happy today because Arsenal won. This second quarter of the show, we'll talk about football strictly, not restricted to football exactly, but focus on that. Anything comes up in any other sport, do it here because the stadium is big enough to accommodate. D1, let's start with that game. Freshest in mind. Arsenal, controversial goals in the last 2 games. What's going on?
Yeah, you call it goal like what I told you last time we were here that I love supporting good football. I'm not saying Arsenal as a team, but anything that is good stuff, I love following it. And Arsenal played good football yesterday, resilient opponent, and at the end of the day, able to conquer, not minding, or today rather, not minding the type of goal that is scored. Either penalty, goal is a goal, 3 points is what really matter at the end of the day.
So is that part of the good football?
It's part of the good football. Reason the fact that they didn't play very well, they wouldn't have even got that penalty, obviously. They played to the extent of having that penalty, and they eventually scored. You know what happened to Arsenal in their last game in the Europa Cup? They couldn't win, and many people came up and criticized the coach by saying, why will you field this type of player? And he came back to the league. He knows what is at stake. Last year they missed their coveted trophy, which is 4th place. And this time around they want
you're the one saying it too. You're the one saying it.
And this time around they want to come back and be among the big 4 in England so that they can play in the Champions League come next season. And they are playing their heart out, and I pray they will just sustain the momentum so that at the end of the day we find themselves in the Champions League, because it's not a good thing playing in Europa, how tedious it is, and they know what it means to play in the Champions League. Now they are calling them Thursday
football. Thursday night football.
They want to go back to Tuesday and Wednesday football. So I think it's a good thing for them, but they still need more effort. They want to be apart with Manchester United.
Well, that is what happens when it comes to football. When you talk about big teams in the game of football, a big team is always a big team. No matter where you are, you try to make yourself relevant again. If you look at clubs like Everton, they were down in the relegation zone, have struggled, despite the fact that they have been losing in a very humiliating way today as well against Southampton. They were almost Southampton, if they had lost to Everton would have just gone up ahead of them because they are 13 and 12 points respectively, just off the drop zone. They tried to make sure that they win that game, but it didn't work for them. Southampton thumped them again, 4-1, because a lot is going wrong. They are delaying, wasting a lot of time in bringing in a new coach that will stabilize the team and identify the weaknesses and prepare for January sign. Yesterday on the show, on the program, why you were not here, we spoke about the instability of Real Madrid and some clubs in Spain, not giving it all as we used to know them, even in Germany, even in Ligue 1 as well, yes. The game, the tempo of football generally in Europe has dropped a little bit based on what we noticed. But let's look at the games that took place yesterday. We'll start first of all from Manchester United. We spoke about that game, but not in details, briefly, because it just finished before we left the stadium. And then we watched the Chelsea game as it ended with the Willian goal that is still not controversial, but confusing. Whether he intended to score or he intended to pass it. Buchi, Mayu, granted that a result yesterday, Jose Mourinho believes in points. That is 1 point or it's 3 points.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever
50
he uses
goals,
to score.
1 goal, 10 goals, doesn't matter. As long as it's that 3 points in the kitty, that's what it is. And we saw that in yesterday's game. They grinded it out. It wasn't an easy match for them. They had stiff competition. But this is Man U. I mean, I think they're actually picking up form. I mean, it was evident that they were bleeding, bleeding in the sense that they were missing out key players. Key players, key figures on that were out with injuries. But
of
now
course, playing the Champions League in Europe and returning to play at home again.
Of course.
Antonio Conte is complaining about the fixtures fatigue. It was him and Man U that had to play earliest. Okay, rather Liverpool and Chelsea had to play. They were both in the Champions League and they played the early games yesterday, even though their fixtures was delayed late. But nothing stopped them to have played today.
Yes,
that is what Spain does to rest its big teams. They are flexible. The FA is flexible with their fixtures. That if they find out that you are tied on the continent, they make it flexible for you within the domestic league so that you can rest, because they all value the contributions that the market that the team brings to them. So Man U were able to grind out a victory. They won. Yesterday, callers were telling us which players they would love, which team to buy, and all that. I think Mourinho at this point in time needs. He didn't concede yesterday, but he almost did. Almost did. He needs a defense or four.
I think he needs the defense. Man U's defense needs to be shored up there at the back. It's just not the same defense that we're used to. I mean, from the days of Rio Ferdinand, Man U used to be like a brick wall, but now it just seems like that fence has a few holes in it, and I think Mourinho needs to use this January window. I'll go out there and share up with I think some good maybe two central defenders, just place them there right there solidly at the back.
Diwan, what are your thoughts on that?
If you look at Manchester United squad right now, you discover that they need some injection into their team. Reason being the fact that look at Smalling. Smalling is not a player that you can just give. That can give 100% anytime you call on him. Exactly. He's aging, and if you look at the pace right now, he's not somebody that can run. When you have fast striker, they will just overrun him and score. And you look at their two went back. I'm referring to you discover that Valencia
has been converted.
Valencia as well that's not his best position. Now they are trying to play him. Well,
every coach has adopted a style. Like we see Victor Moses at Chelsea. We've seen a lot of players being moved to positions that are a little bit convenient. And don't forget that Mourinho is fond of doing that. Remember the time he played at Chelsea, he played Marquez as right back, as full back. Even sometimes.
They even played Mikel time back.
Okay, so some coaches are fond of doing that if they see that you can give results. And Valencia has been able to lock up that place. But the point you are making, I understand.
If Valencia has to sustain injury today,
there's
who
no
will occupy that
position? Who will occupy that position? There's nobody there.
And you discover that they are midfield as well. The only person that is doing a great job now is Matic. Thank God that they signed Matic. If not, they would have been having problems in their midfield. Well, Pogba sustained injury. You discover that the whole problem, this thing is on Matic. And now that Pogba is coming back, they need to give him time before we get back to the peak that he's known for. Because right now he's not playing. He's very careful not to go back to injury again. And look at their up front. Lukaku has not been playing very well these days. You see people saying why can't they are even talking about maybe they should sign better player comes January because Ibrahimovic as well just only 1 year.
Well, that's why Mourinho is looking at Willian at Chelsea and David Luiz if he can rip them off Chelsea and bring them over to Man United. Of course, don't forget that Antonio Griezmann is there at Atletico Madrid and he's not happy again. Diego Simeone, whatever is the problem between them, even though he scored yesterday. But of course, I think Jose, being the wise man that he is, will actually look into the transfer window come January.
I see Young coming back from injury after a month and he scored for them yesterday. I think kudos must be given.
With that deflection, D1, you call it a goal? I don't understand. Hello, good evening and welcome to the stadium. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the stadium.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, welcome to the stadium. My name is Ted. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I am Ona Manuel, calling here in Abuja.
Okay, make your contribution. Have you been listening to the program?
Yes.
All right. Let's see.
No, I'm not listening. I just call my own for what I have in mind to show you.
Okay. Is it about sports?
Yes, so I reported my case to your ordinary president, sir.
Okay.
So,
all right. You know what you do? You know what you do?
No, sir. No, sir.
This platform is sports, but we don't want to deny you the chance to say what you want to say. But the appropriate place for you to get a good response to your problem is to call tomorrow morning during the Brekete Family Program that starts by 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Right?
All right, sir.
So listen to the radio tomorrow and call from morning 7:30 a.m. to 9. Or you can call from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. but not with the ordinary president. You speak to him directly. Any of these hours will be convenient tomorrow.
Oh, all right, sir.
All right,
Thank
then.
you, sir.
Thank you very much for calling Human Rights Radio.
Thank you.
All right, then. Okay, D1, let's go straight to the game that has brought some kind of controversies. Are you the listener out there? I'm asking. Yesterday, did Willian intend to cross that ball, or he intended to score? Have you seen? Do you remember any other Brazilian that did that? Let me give you a clue. It was actually against David Seaman of England. It was a World Cup game. If you remember that Brazilian and which competition that was, give us a call and tell us who it was. Hello, good evening and welcome to the stadium. Good evening.
Hello, okay.
Good evening. My name is Ted. What is your name and where are you calling from? This is the stadium.
If you don't know my I want to try to call Angola.
All right. All right. This is Human Rights Radio. All right. Thank you for calling. Whether it's wrong or there's no wrong number here, you have called the stadium. We accept your call.
And we say thank you.
I will say thank you for making the effort to call at all. It's big enough for everybody. If you want to join us on this program to talk about issues we have raised and issues we are raising, any game you watched yesterday or today in the world of football that we're not even spoken about, you are free to call and talk about it. Call the number 081 89 99 1011. Did Willian intend to cross the ball or he intended to score? He scored that ball just a few seconds after being introduced on the pitch by Antonio Conte, whom he is having problem with, by the way, because they say if Willian is staying, Conte goes, and if Conte is staying, Willian goes. I don't know how true that is. Hello, good evening and welcome to the stadium.
Hello, good evening, sir.
What's your name again, sir?
From Abuja.
Okay, Tafik, yeah, welcome and make your contribution. Have you been listening to the program?
Yeah, I've been listening, but the other guy told that Smalling is taking, he can't get his shot, flying in there, so the guy is taking that 26. Thank you.
Okay. I could hardly make what you said, sir, but...
He's talking about Smalling. When I mentioned the fact that Smalling is aging.
Okay.
Player can get aging by the time you are sustaining injury consistently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Before you know, in fact, you see some players that retired at the age of 25. I'm
Yeah,
not
sure,
referring
they do.
to their real age for
Owe
the football.
Hagris.
But when it has
Michael
to do with
Owen.
the injury,
Michael Owen Hagris, famously, a lot of them.
you
a lot
discover
of
that
them
they
do.
sustain injury consistently, and that will not help their game. And that's exactly what I'm referring to by
Anyway,
saying
to
they
the
are
caller,
aging.
Diwa was just stating his opinion. I wished you stated yours. If I heard you clear, I didn't. I wish you said your own opinion and you tell us the way forward, what you think, recommendations you make if you're a supporter of Manchester United, what you think should be things that Mourinho should do to make the team better, to come back to the glorious days of Sir Alex Ferguson. Of course, Cantona is on Mourinho's nerves, attacking him with words and vibes, and Mourinho doesn't take that lightly because hit back. All right, so D1, Buchi, yesterday, Chelsea escaped. Buchi wouldn't talk. Was it an escape? Mohamed Salah scored. He didn't celebrate to tell you that somehow, some part of me used to be at Chelsea and is still at Chelsea. It's not my fault that you guys sent me away. I went to Roma, I sharpened my skills. I came back, I took Egypt to the World Cup, and I'm going to be in Russia. And I'm here for Liverpool, and this goal is for you. Take it. And he dropped it in. And I couldn't see the ball coming at all. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium. Good evening, my name is Ted. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Lazaro. I'm calling from Cuba.
Okay, make your contribution, sir.
Eh?
Make your contribution, please.
No, I just want to greet you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you so
thank you.
much for calling. Are you listening to us?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Keep on listening. Something good will just come out of it. Thank you so much. So, gentlemen, that game, the outcome is the fact that both of them shared 1 point.
Exactly.
And we didn't expect it to be that way. Nobody saw it coming that way. People thought either Chelsea wins massively or Liverpool will win. But or the most technical coach gets best of the spoils. It ended up in a draw. The club came out to say he's not sure he's happy at that moment that it's a draw, but later in the night you'll see if you get something to be happy about. And that Conte played with 8 defenders. And that he was intending to introduce a player to make it 5 defenders at the back before Willian got that goal, because the 4th official did not allow him to make the sub when he wanted to make it, and that delayed. Probably that was why. Maybe Willian knew the defender to take on. Maybe that's the one he intended to bring out. I don't know, but what's your thoughts on the game, Buchi?
I mean, like my father will say, I mean, a draw is a gentleman's result. You get a point, I get a point, everybody goes home. There's no victor, there's no loser. We're all winners here with 1 point apiece.
Like badminton, gentleman's game.
It's a gentleman's game, exactly. So I mean, the two teams. These are two of the top teams in the EPL, and you would expect this kind of result. You know, of course, you always want one team to win over the other, but then with these two teams, with two very technical coaches and two very capable coaches with the caliber of players they had at their disposal, yes. I think it is what it is. It played out the way it was supposed to play out. Whether Williams' goal was a fluke or whether it was planned, one way or another, I think Chelsea and their fans will be happy that ball entered the net. Hook, crook, fire, force, it entered the net.
Diwan, what are your thoughts?
I think
Which is celebrating
it was an intelligent play from Willian.
Yes.
It's not about fluke. When he saw the goalkeeper coming out,
he was
knew
out
that
of position.
the best thing for him to do is for him to just chip the ball. And he did that exactly, and that's exactly what he... But if you look at the game yesterday, it was a compact game. It was a technical game.
With Danny Drinkwater and N'Golo Kante in that middle, I mean, there was little Liverpool could do there to penetrate. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Stadium on Human Rights Radio.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello, sorry. Am I speaking with the family?
Yes, this is the Stadium on Human Rights Radio.
Okay, human rights.
Yes, we are discussing sports. What sport do you play? Dambe or Ludo or cards?
Hello,
Hello? We are discussing sports. What sports do you play? Do you play Dambe or Ludo or cards?
Ludo.
Ludo? Okay. So you don't follow football?
No, I don't follow football at all.
And your neighbors don't watch football?
No.
All right, we're discussing sports. But if you want to talk to the Brekete family, you call tomorrow morning between 7:30 and 9 o'clock. Is that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah. Okay, all right.
All right, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. At least we have a Ludo player on the stadium. She has broken the record by being a Ludo player.
I think by next week, Ted, we need to actually get that concise analysis and reporting on Ludo competition.
And Dambe as well. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, welcome to the stadium. My name is Ted. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Felix from Lambata.
Okay, Felix, welcome to the program. What are your contributions?
Yes, I'm happy to be on the stadium.
Oh, we are glad to have you, Felix.
Yes, I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay.
And either way, we are happy with that goal.
Exactly.
And,
why not?
It was all the difference we needed at that particular time to make
to
move on.
Yes.
And we are very grateful that it happened so.
Okay.
And it's a draw. It's okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
But who will you say was your player of the day for yesterday's game?
Of course, N'Golo Kante.
Okay.
Yes, it's my player of the day.
All right then. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Mr. Felix, for joining the stadium. We're glad to have you here. Bye. You want to be a part of this conversation, call 08189 991011. All right. Today, Arsenal won, like G1, you've spoken about that game. Man City struggled and won 2-1. Raheem Sterling final goal there, that is still the victory for them. So they look like a team that will not be caught. But there's something else I want us to talk about briefly as we report matches that are going on across the world. I'll talk about them. Let's look at Russia 2018. Something very tricky. I was looking at the array of goalkeepers that will go to Russia. Big time keepers. And I don't know whether it's a coincidence or most of these countries arranged, if they knew they would qualify for the World Cup, by having their keepers play in the toppest leagues and their first team keepers for these clubs. For example, Russia will have Igor Akinfev. Of course, you know him. Yes. Over the years, he has been he's aging, but of course, Buffon has proven to us that age doesn't count for keepers.
Especially for keepers, no.
Keepers, it doesn't matter, even defenders. For Belgium, we have Thibaut Courtois for Chelsea. For Denmark, we have Kasper Schmeichel for Leicester City. But we're keeping for Leicester City, but he's facing the best of strikers in the league, so his skills are sharpening.
Definitely.
For England, Gareth Southgate has to make a decision. Of course, he has been experimenting different keepers. So
between Joe Hart and Pickford.
Joe Hart and Pickford, and Pickford seems to be his choice. Hart is having a lot of issues in. Someone is here on the line. We have to listen to this person. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sister.
Hello, good evening, Auntie. Welcome to the stadium. This is a Stadium on Human Rights Radio.
Okay, Stadium.
Okay. All right. Auntie, try the number again. Sister, don't come out.
Sister,
All right.
don't come out.
Germany have the injured Manuel Neuer and the captain, but of course he's going to be back. Likely back before the gets there. He has to be back for Bayern Munich and play long before they get to Russia. Poland have Lukas Fabianski. Swansea starter. Swansea there. Spain have David De Gea at Manchester United, and they have other options.
Yes.
Don't forget. Argentina have Sergio Romero, Manchester United's second fiddle, but he is a very good player. He's the first team keeper for the club.
Fantastic.
Brazil have 3 keepers, but the most performing one now is Ederson of Man City.
Yes.
He has kept clean sheets for so many games. Apart from he considered today, but he is good. He is good. Colombia have David Ospina of Arsenal. Second fiddle to Peter Cech, and yet when he comes, he tries to let Cech know that I was here before you came in, and I think I should get my space back. Costa Rica have Navas of Real Madrid. A small country like that.
Of course.
Now look at Nigeria. We have Francis Uzoho in Deportivo La Corona. Yes, of course he kept just for a couple of minutes for us in the game against Argentina. But back home here, we have used Daniel Akwe from South Africa. We have used Dele Ajiboye from Plateau United. We have used Ikechukwu Ezewa from FC Ifeanyi. And I'm looking at these keepers, not because of the league they're playing in, but experience of what, if you are considering what keepers. Of course, it's unfortunate that Kai Ekeme is undergoing what he's undergoing and has us within that. He's recovering, quick recovery. What do we do in the goalkeeping department? We're looking at it now that it's nothing. By the time we get to Russia, and the first 3 games will come home with 6 goals, then we'll start condemning the coach and all that. There's little we can do, but at least we can say something.
Of course.
D1, where do we go from here?
I will start by saying Daniel Akpeyi should be left alone. Let him be. He shouldn't be in that. If you look at Daniel Akpeyi, when he goes back to South Africa for Chippers United, he always perform very well. But when the innovation is just too loud, when it's on the high competition, you always, at the end of the day, fumble. And I think that type of goalkeeper should not be taken to World Cup.
Yes.
If you look at Dele Ajiboye, Dele Ajiboye has been there for once at under 17 level when late Yemi Tella was there. We so rest in peace. When he was our coach then, he was there. He kept very good distance. You remember the penalty that he saved for us in the final.
He's good at penalties generally.
Very good. And he's presently with Plateau United.
Yes.
If you look at Ikechukwu Ezewa with Ifeanyi, you discover what Ikechukwu Ezewa is doing presently. That is a very good goalkeeper.
Yes.
If you look at Uzo as well for Deportivo La Corona, very good goalkeeper as well, but the experience is not there yet. If you ask me to pick out of all these goalkeepers that I've mentioned, people they are talking about Vincent Enyama, but don't let us go back again to Vincent Nyama. Even if
Nyama had a chance in the Korean Japan 2002.
Yes, and he was just 19 years old then. So if Nyama will come now, he should just come and cheer these goalkeepers up. Not that you just come and
he should come and mentor them or coach them.
Good. But now I think the first keeper that we have now that we're supposed to choose, according to my own decision or understanding that I'm thinking now, should be Ikechukwu Ezewa first, Uzo second, then we can now think about Dele Ajiboye because of the experience. But Daniel Akpeyi, we should just leave Daniel Akpeyi and let him be for now.
That's true. That's true.
But do you have a different opinion?
No. I totally agree with what D1 is saying. I think it makes total sense. I think Daniel just needs to I think he needs to just focus where he is and just he should take his eyes off the national team for now.
Uzoho was 18 years and 352 before he played. Of course, the Portugal Colonel has signed him before, but he was underage, so they couldn't field him. He has a history of being one of the youngest keepers I've ever kept in La Liga at the age of 18 and just some days. And he has been performing wonderfully for them. Of course, they are not very safe from relegation, but they are like 16th on the table, but the gap between them and the last 3 place teams is almost 7 points. So it's very difficult for those teams to catch up with them before they become threatened. He has kept excellently well. Little was known about him apart from the fact that he was from Aspire Academy before he got out there and played for a Qatari club. He started as a striker. Funny enough, he was a striker before he was converted to the keeping position and has doing excellently well. And I think probably is something that the coach needs to look out for. See if we need some strengthening. But then, don't we have D1 in the league, looking around the league? if you are to make one recommendation around the league that should be included in the massive 23-man squad, the giant one that we used to have, we'll start trimming down to the required number.
I will mention Olorunleke Ojo of Akwa United. Olorunleke Ojo was there when at under 17 level, at the same time under 20 level, and he's a very good goalkeeper. When it comes to penalty kick, this guy is very good. Last season, apart from Ayeleso of Nasarawa United, he was there topping the chart when it comes to clean sheet for Nigeria Professional Football League, and he's a very, very good goalkeeper. I think we should look in his direction as well, because he has been there at the top level when it comes to World Cup. He was there for under 20 and others, and I think we can just draft in him. Although we have better good goalkeepers in Nigeria, but I think we should look at Olorunleke Ojo. He's very good, and Suraj Ayeleso as well of Nasarawa United is a very good goalkeeper as well. And we have many of them scattered all over the country. But I think if they should ask me to make a recommendation, I will point to the direction of these two goalkeepers.
Yeah, so while we wait for Carr to recover, hopefully that he recovers and takes his place, he would have actually been our number one if everything was well. While we wait for him to recover, we'll look out for the performances of these keepers. I think it's up to us to monitor them and say, sometimes you have no idea how far your words could go, how much influence they could have on the selection by some coaches. Sometimes it does happen. You hear D1 say he went to watch Kano Pillars and Lobby, and he discovered that he thinks one of the keepers there is better than all the keepers we have at the Super Eagles. Of course, somebody could listen to that as well. All right, gentlemen, we are getting to the point where we'll pack our things and get out of the studio for this Sunday edition of the Stadium. Just a reminder again that today Southampton defeated Everton 4-1. Everton have no place, whether it's home or away. You always predict the result of recent. Arsenal managed with a fake penalty against Burnley 1-0, which D1 doesn't agree. And Huddersfield Town, of course, lost at home to Manchester City. That game was actually going to almost end up 1-1, but Raheem Sterling
pulled one out of the bag.
Pulled one out of that, and it became a good game for them. AC Milan and Torino, Genoa and Roma, they are all draws, 0-0 in the first game, and Genoa and Roma 1-1. SS Napoli defeated Udinese at home 1-0. Lazio and Fiorentina, the game is on plus 6 minutes, so the game is going on. Those are two big teams, and it's 1-1. Then Juventus and Crotone. Game comes up tonight, and it's a game you shouldn't miss. You need to watch it as well. In La Liga, of course, we had Atletico Bilbao drew away to Deportivo La Coruna with Zoho in sports, like we said. Real Sociedad and Las Palmas 2-2. Villarreal and Sevilla 2-2. I don't know what's happening with 2-2 today. But the big game is tonight. Barcelona is going away to Valencia. That's a big game that you should watch out for as well. Until tomorrow again in the evening, when we come your way again on the Stadium of Human Rights Radio 101.1, saying thank you to Buchi for being here. Thanks to D1 for making a return. Thanks to Brownie on the console. And thanks to Blessed and Chike, the simulcast and on the server. And thanks to Mr. Ben, who came here to give us details in the world of badminton, and to everybody who called and those who attempted to call, the calls didn't go through. This show is done every day. So tomorrow in the evening again from 6:15, join us and we'll open the lines for you to discuss whatever you want to discuss in the world of sport. Then we'll see you again. Good night.